channel is about you. I'm here to empower you guys. I'm here to show you how to understand your credit, how to fix your credit, and how to leverage your credit. Also, you're gonna I'm still dropping my VIP mentorship that you guys can still get in for free. And if you guys have any friends that don't speak English, send them to my Spanish channel, which is called Conecto de Crédito. In this video, what we're going to talk about is how to achieve an $80,000 credit card with Navy Federal. Remember, Navy Federal is known to give high limits on their credit cards. Among other stuff, that's why a lot of people want to get into Navy Federal. Remember, it's the #1 credit union in the nation, guys. It's there to help the people, to help their shareholders. They're not like the banks. Banks, they're not for the profit. They're for the people, okay? So everybody talks about Navy Federal. What are things that we can do? One of the things that we can do that has nothing to do with Navy Federal, but if your credit is not that good and you're working on it, you might want to be able to create a trade line, a primary trade line. If you're somebody that's renting and you want to be able to increase your credit score, I would tell you to at least get into one of the programs. I would recommend probably Boom, BOOM. Why? Because it does report to all 3 credit unions. And you can report your rent for 24 months prior. So that's going to give you 2 years of a trade line prior. And that's going to help you build your credit, not only with Navy Federal, but your credit, your consumer credit in general, okay? Because it does report to all 3 credit bureaus. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Yes, you do need to build your inner score with Navy Federal. Obviously, when you become a member, because all this, you have to be a member. You already have to be in Navy Federal. You have to have the checking account and you have to have a savings account. Make sure that you do, put your checking account and get the flagship card, okay? You want to get the flagship card. Yes, you do have to have a minimum of $1,500 there, because if not, they're going to charge you $10 a month. But think about it. $10 a month is really not a big deal. And it's going to pay you on dividends. And it's going to make you look good because it looks like you're invested. And I've heard that the flagship checking account is probably, if it's not #1, it's probably one of the credit products that Navy Federal gives you the most points or helps you grow that internal score. So that's really important with Navy Federal. Also, depending where you are on your credit journey, if you're somebody that's below 680, I would tell you first go for one of the secure cards, okay? With Navy Federal, go for the secure card. Make sure you pay it on time, use it, pay it off every month, and after 6 months, it's going to graduate. If it doesn't graduate, it's because something's going on. But that's going to help you build not only your consumer credit, but also your internal score with Navy Federal. Remember, Navy Federal has an internal score that's between 100 to 450. Okay, so this is really important. Also, when you are going for that secure card and you do the pre-qualification, if you get approved, you are going to get a hard inquiry. So that is really important. The hard inquiry on the personal side is TransUnion. And when you go for the business credit cards is Experience. So this is something for you to know and to understand. After the 6 months, make sure that, you do graduate, and depending what card you graduate to, that's when you start going for those credit line increase. Remember, Navy Federal used to be a credit line increase every 91 days. Now they've changed it and it's every 6 months. So you're going to get 2 credit line increase a year with Navy Federal, okay? So try to follow the steps. That way you don't get flagged when you're trying to get more money with Navy Federal. Also, if your credit score is 700 or more, then you can go in for the cash rewards, the gold, the platinum or the gold card, okay? But don't try to apply right away for the flagship card. Yeah, you might get it, but remember, in order to get the flagship card, you have to have credit cards of $5,000 or more, because that is the starting limit with the flagship card, okay? And remember, Navy Federal has a limit of $80,000. So if you have 2 personal cards at $20,000 each, you're not going to get a flagship card for $80,000. You might get 2 at 20 and then the flagship card for another $40,000, which ends up being $80,000. That is their credit exposure on the personal side. So a lot of people go crazy with this. They think that they're going to get 80 plus 40, and that doesn't happen. I've heard of some people getting in total a little bit higher. I personally have not had that opportunity, but I've heard about it. Also, remember, anytime that you're going to apply for one of the credit cards, go through the pre-qualification guide. Guys, you don't want to get a hard inquiry when you're not going to get approved. So this is really important. Excuse me. And anytime that you're above 700, it's possible to apply for credit cards. If you've already been in the Navy Federal, ecosystem, I would tell you at least 3 to 6 months you can get into their ecosystem and get approved right away. But I would tell you always to start building up the internal score, even when you have good credit, okay, consumer credit, because that's going to help you look better on paper, and that's going to help you get more funds. Also, something that you can do is you can always add, like, the CD account, or you can add the certificate, which that's my favorite, because the certificate, the easy certificate, starts at $50. Imagine getting 5 of them at $100 each. That's going to give you 5 easy certificates at $100 each. Imagine how you're going to look on paper with Navy Federal. Remember, those easy certificates start from, I believe, 12 to 24 months depending. Okay. Also, you can do the pledge loan hack. I have 2 videos on the pledge loan hack that also helps you build not only the inner score with Navy Federal, but it helps you build the consumer, your consumer credit. So that helps you. It's like double dipping there. Also, with the flagship card, make sure, to, before you apply, that you do have other credit cards at $5,000. Because remember, if not, you're not going to get approved and you're going to waste your time. I would tell you to first build the other cards with Navy Federal. Try to get, 10, 15, 20 before applying for the flagship card. Remember, this process is slow. We don't need to hurry. We need to build trust with Navy Federal. Think about which other personal credit card out there gives you $80,000, So you want to make sure that you never get your account flagged with Navy Federal. This is really important. You want to make sure to follow the rules and do everything correctly. Because when you build a relationship with Navy Federal, this is a lifetime relationship. Remember, they are number one in relationship based. A lot of people do get credit from Navy Federal with a 680, and I've heard even a little bit lower. Why? Because they built a trust, they look good on paper, and they've seasoned those accounts. They have no overdraft. That's another thing. Always get the overdraft protection. It doesn't mean that you have the overdraft protection, you're going to be, overdrafting all the time. You could have one hiccup, and that's fine. It happens to all of us. But that was something somebody asked me. Oh, I put like $40,000, but I do get overdraft, and I have the overdraft protection. It still doesn't make you look good. You look like you cannot take care of your account. You cannot budget your account correctly. And like I said, we all have one hiccup here or there, but don't let it happen all the time. Also, if you still don't have a business account, I would tell you that is the next step that you need to move into. You can either do it as a sole prop, or you can open an LLC. Remember, even if you do nails, if you cut grass, if you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, if you clean houses, whatever you do, you are your business owner, and you can open that LLC. So you can go in through the personal side. You can start building that trust with Navy Federal. Even to open a business account with Navy Federal, I believe you have to wait anyway 30 days after you're in their ecosystem. I would tell you then the next step would be to open the business account with Navy Federal, open a business checking, and open the savings with Navy Federal. Okay. Also, remember, with Navy Federal, you do have something that's called product change, where you can actually change the credit cards, you can upgrade, and you won't get a hard inquiry. And sometimes when you do that, you don't have to wait their traditional length of time. You can write them an email and ask them, hey, I'm interested, in product change, and then you guys can go from there. So with Navy Federal, there's a lot of gems. It's just knowing the steps and following them. But I believe that anybody with Navy Federal can achieve their flagship card for $80,000. Now, if you have your credit at 640 and yeah, you have good, history with Navy Federal, no, those are not that's not what I'm talking about. I don't believe that you're going to be able to achieve then the $80,000. But if you're already in the ecosystem and you're fixing your credit, remember, one of the things of fixing your credit is not only removing all the negative, is building trade lines at the same time. You got to give it new blood. If you don't give it new blood, you're not going to build your personal credit. And that is not only in the personal credit, but that is also on the business credit. You got to give it new blood, new trade lines, because this is really important, guys. Okay? Remember, I'm not an attorney. We're here just to educate ourselves, to learn. I'm here to help you guys. And I can be finishing this video and the data points can change. I always tell you guys, do your due diligence, do your homework, and give me a like, subscribe, give me a comment, guys. That's really important to me. It's the only way I'm going to get to know you guys. And also, join my free mentorship. I'm going to start going live pretty soon, okay? Remember, this is Jackie from Credit Connector. Until next time.